today we're going to get some cabling in and install the lights on the front and the lights on the back. I want these lights running independently from the main switches on the actual lighting console where you turn your lights on, you do your high and low beam. I want them running to different switches so they use basically so they're independent on their own. So first of all we need to fit one of these. Now underneath the seat, which is the driver's seat, which is a bit dark and it's a bit filthy, there are these spare cables. Check them all, they're all 12 volts, so we're going to use one of them, go into one of these, and then off that we can go to the switches, and we've got a 40 amp breaker on the actual line. Right, so next we've got to drill out for the actual M8 threads that go in there, so we can get these to the roof. What I've done is I went on the roof, I measured from the middle, which is there, to the middle of the unistrut, which is there, measured both ends of the actual steel and the wood, and that gave me that mark right there and that mark right there. Right, so that's the holes drilled in this. We've actually got riv nuts in there, so we can take the lights off now, give this a clean, give it a spray. And I've just found out a friend of mine's been sick. Get well soon, Eddie. Sydney, stop poisoning your dad. Right, that's all painted up now, so now we can put the lights back on, and then when the actual fixings come we can go through there with the bolts and bolt them down to the roof rack. So let's put the lights back on. Right, so to seal all the cables in the van, we're going to be using these things. They're a marine grade baffle, or whatever you want to call them, a seal for basically cables, and it comes with a little sponge foot that sits on the bottom of your van. Let's take it apart and you can just see exactly what it does. But what the beauty about these things is that your cable runs through the middle. Once it's tightened up, then the actual rubber seals around the full cable, ensuring that no water at all is going to get in through the cable, in through the roof, and you don't need to use an absolute ton of Sikaflex. So the cable runs through there, which then sits in this housing. Now this part, as well as the small little foot, that gets screwed down to your van. It does come with 3 screws, self-tappers. What I do is I just put a little bit of Sikaflex on the bottom there, not much, a tiny little bit, just to seal it. Put this down, drill this straight into the van, and then once you drill your hole in there, you pass your cable through. So you put your cable through there, and then you pass your cable through this. Now you can see there's a small, it edges out either side. So when that goes in there, what it does is this motion by screwing it forces this down, which pushes this up through the hole, and then in theory squeezing the rubber around your cable. So let's get a hole drilled in this and then we'll show you what it does. So there is going to be the cable for the lights. So what we need to do is we need to pass the outer ring over it first. Then you have your hole. you take your cables, give them a little wet, then you can push them through your hole. Yes, it will be a little tight, but once you get it going, you should be able to just twist it on and it'll just come through. There we go, we've got it going. So that's where it would sit on the roof. That then sits in there, and as you can see, there's a small 3 or 4 millimeter. So when you screw this actually down, this pushes up here and seals all the way around the actual cable. So that goes on the bottom. Obviously this part is connected to the van, this goes down, and then you screw this part into the bottom one with the bolts provided, and it just gives you 100% tight seal. There's no water getting in here or in there. These are made for marine, so they're a marine grade sealant. You know, you can see you've got a couple of mil there, and it's going to squeeze it in here. The rubber's tight, but once you actually grip down on this, it seals no problem whatsoever. So that's how we're going to be sealing all the cables apart from the solar onto the van. So next we've got to fit these up on the roof. They come on little brackets, sit in there. But first of all, we're going to actually get the brackets in to the uni-strut, just like that, so they're sitting on the edge. And I've just made some small plates to go over the end, so that will then cover the end of the uni-strut and make it look a little bit neat. So all we've got to do now is drill a hole in the roof, attach the plate for the waterproof washer, and then get this screwed down and make them all safe on both sides. So pop the cables through. There's little tabs on the inside of this, and you can see it lines up with them little marks on the holes on the sides. So mark them up. When you tighten these up, it pushes this down, which squishes the rubber around this, making a full waterproof seal. And that's it, done. Do the other side and then do the front. Right, in true Neil style, this little step here, to me, it just kind of looks like, I think that'd be perfect. I mean, I don't know about you, but to me, that looks good. Let's get it in. So that's the bottom ones on. They were a bit of a nightmare. I have had to step them up. I've had to step them up with these little steps, just so you can get into the actual fixing bolts for this plastic plate. But they look alright. They're in the right place. That's where we wanted them. They're not too intrusive. They don't sort of stick out too much. And then we've got the yellow ones on the roof and the ones on the back. So for lighting, that's us done. Now we've just got to wire them all up. Now we've got all the wires and the cables through for the lights. We've got our live there, and then we've got the 3 sets of lights there. They are all going to be connected up to this switch pack, which is right there. Now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to connect all the earths, all the negatives, the main live, and then on each switch we're going to connect the live for the actual light to whatever it is. But first of all, we need to join all the earths up together, get them together, get them soldered up, get them heat shrinked, and get them all tidy. So as you can see, with a bit of heat, that solder is now connected all them wires together. They're all safe. Now we just need to bring this sleeve over, and then we can make it all tidy. And get that over to there. Right, me being me, doing the great job I'm doing, actually forgot to connect the actual switch panel earth into this block here. So we're just going to connect it up to there with a bit of solder, and it'll be great. So we've got one of the big ones on there, and what we're going to do is we've just bared that back. All I'm going to do is I'm going to make a loop like this, give that a squeeze in and a twist, and then hopefully this end piece will pass over the lot, and we'll be able to solder them up right in the middle. We can get them all in, so we can solder that up there, and then that's that joint done. Right, so that's all the earths connected up. Finally, they're all safe. They're actually covered in, you can't tell that it's sealed, but there's actually a clear silicone over that. It will go white like this one has done once it's gone dry. So now we're going to connect the live up to the live. Right, so all we've got to do now is connect these 3 cables to these 3 switches, screw it in, and as you can see already it's all working, lit up. Right, so that is them all connected. They all work perfectly fine, and it gives us 2 USBs. So we've got to get this mess in there and screw it up. Job's a good one. So that's them in. Backs work, fronts work, lowers work. We get 2 USBs as well, which is really handy, and they don't look that bad there. They don't stick out, they're kind of out the way, but you can get them with your hands if you need to. Well, that's the lights done, all sorted, all wired up, all looking pretty. Got to clear that mess up now. Ooh, it's a bit of a mess. Don't forget, leave us a comment
and subscribe,
and give us one of them big old thumbs up. How stupid was that? Subscribe, or I'm going to set her on you. She's mean.